traveler. Paimon.
Oh, hey, Hoishin. Fancy meeting you here.
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues. But I've been feeling distracted. It's a long story.
Huh?
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Anyway, my father's currently on the second floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you come? He seems very fond of you, too.
Sure, let's go. Uncle Tien, we're here to chat with you.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Oishi. I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. As I grow older, I'm starting to find that I am still very much in good standing as the...
How difficult is it to transfer the Tien?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu is historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside forces. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends that...
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Keqing, Lady Ningguang, and the other...
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my...
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than...
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tien here asked me to fancy joining me. You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on good terms with an...
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tien, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the covert...
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the next Tien?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let... So, how about this? If your investigation...
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything... Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, have a... Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this finest... You're all set?
Uncle Tien seems really worn down.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tien is past his prime. He's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei. Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Minghua works at the Liyue Ministry of... Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget.
Qianwei? Mingbo? Zhiyi. Paimon should be...
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the...
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an...
Oh, I mean,
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way...
Oh, come on. That's just...
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing... Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while...
Fine. They're not the best quality chair.
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. I've split it into 2 stages. Current affairs and planning. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submit.
Wow. One of them...
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianxu, failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done.
By the way, do you have any idea...
Me neither. They'd better get someone who knows what they're talking...
Finished, huh?
Everyone took it very...
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as... And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan at... That's for me to know? We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment op... I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to...
Mind your tone, mister!
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply... Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps...
Oh, is it my...
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months. I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there...
Is it just Paimon?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and...
Oh, okay.
Hello. Not gonna... What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be...
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming, but I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to...
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed...
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate if it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor...
Nice answer. All right.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and
Here's my take on what we just As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas, but he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous, but he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across...
perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good.
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details. His methodology is... The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's.
Great.
We'll see. Let's... All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Yi...
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of... Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. But Qianwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingbo has always been occupied with his work.
Whoa. So how did you get to...
Qianwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingbo came to my attention in the course of my... We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know, Yi came from a poor family, and his parents died when he reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing. Quite. And now, all of a sudden, the young are growing up, and I am growing old.
I don't know, Uncle Tien. You still seem in pretty good shape to me.
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy...
Sounds like you sure love fish.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and
Fresh fish soup.
doesn't it? Also, some time ago, when we've been fishing recently, Yi always brings some extra ingredients he prepared in it. That flavor makes for a fond memory. But it might...
Oh, can Paimon come next time too?
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tien,
I appointed you as... Had you not asked me why Yi's ideas were so similar to mine, this decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard... Remember, you...
understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tien. So, it's gonna be Yi, right? His manifesto was written well.
Easy. Let's not rush.
Huh? So...
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But the biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden. For example, Wenyuan.
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shang. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right?
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not...
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, Go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Ming...
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
Jur-E. Well, obviously, as the most promising candidate. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there. You can find out all...
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai, the owner of... He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some...
That's actually not a bad...